Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in Isaiah chapter 9, verses 1 through 7. Now, this very well-known passage is going to be read on Christmas Eve this year. It starts off by talking about how the lands of Zebulun and Naphtali, the Galilee of the nations, or sometimes interpreted Galilee of the Gentiles, that they will be lifted up. There's not going to be any more gloom. Now, what's interesting about this is that this is the region from which the attack on Judah that Isaiah is talking about is coming from. That these people who have been distressed and disgraced and belong to what is essentially Samaria, that they're going to have a hope that in the midst of their deep darkness is going to come a king. So this king is not the current one on the throne, who's no longer a part. He has no connection to the line of David. That line has been long gone in the northern kingdom of Israel. He's talking about a whole new king. And so this passage is a messianic passage. It's not about what was going on contemporaneous with Isaiah. This really is a passage about the hope of a future for all of us. And that those who are distressed and humbled, the people who are walking in a deep and great darkness, on them a great light will dawn. And one of the names for Jesus throughout the New Testament is the bright morning star. Peter calls him this in his letter. And it says that the boundaries, the nation will be enlarged. What does it mean to have our boundaries enlarged? I think about how, as Christians, when we have Christ in our lives, that what our opportunities are to serve God and to serve others greatly increase. And it says that there'll be increased joy and rejoicing because God will have broken the yoke that burdens, the bar that is laid across our shoulders, the rod of the oppressor. And all the oppression and violence that the people of Israel and Judah know in that time, the prophet is saying there's going to be a time when all those are just going to go the way, they're going to go on the trash heap. That's not the future. Oppression and violence will find an end because God is going to send his own son, the child. Upon his shoulders will be a government that is governed by righteousness and justice, a righteousness that is unattainable in this world, a justice that comes not from who has more power, who has more money, a justice that comes from the holiness of God. And that this kingdom of righteousness and justice will last forever. Well, again, no way possible that he's speaking about any kind of kingdom on this world because every nation, every government ebbs and flows and rises and falls. But this kingdom will last forever. This kingdom actually will survive throughout the midst of violence and oppression and depression and disgrace because it is the kingdom of the child of God who is the wonderful counselor, mighty prince. And so God will replace the kings and rulers of this world, the unfaithful rulers of this world, with his faithful son. Amen.